This is the PNG Podcast, proudly brought to you by major sponsor Jack's Pale Ale, exclusively available at Parramatta Leagues Club, Shannon Cooney from Glenmore Park Realty, Bo Cook from Loan Market, BTZD, the official apparel partner of the PNG Podcast, and the Parramatta Times, the official media partner of the PNG Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the PNG Podcast. And now over to your host, Troy Warner, broadcasting live from the world-famous PNG.
And yes, hello and welcome back to another episode of the PNG Podcast. Troy Warner here, and this is week 3 of the Pacific Championships in both the men's and the women's competitions. And it all kicks off on Saturday, the 28th of October at 6 p.m. with the Jillaroos taking on the Kiwi Ferns in the Pacific Championships for women. Now, this is the 1 versus 2 teams in the world in this competition in the world, I should say, of women's rugby league, and obviously the Jillaroos, the World Cup champions from last year. So a great looking side for the Jillaroos. Julia Robinson and Caitlin Johnston are out, and a couple of new ins for this side. So Yasmin Clydesdale comes onto the bench. We also have Jakaya Whitfield onto the wing. So the Tigers Player of the Year, I think it was, is on the wing for Australia. Tegan Berry as well is in the side I'm just looking here as a reserve, so may get a run, may not, but look, it's still a fantastic looking side. Obviously Tamika Upton, the Dally M winner, premiership winner, back at fullback, Jamie Chapman, Jessica Sergis, Isabel Kelly, Whitfield, as I mentioned, Taryn Aiken, Ali Regan-Shaw, Shannon Marto, Lauren Brown, Jessica Elliston, Kezi Apps, Olivia Koenig, Samaima Taufa, Emma Tonagato on the bench, Yasmin Clydesdale, Kennedy Cherrington, and Emma Manzelman. So, look, a fantastic side there. And look, it's going to be pretty hard to beat these Jillaroo women's teams. So, look, the New Zealand side, the Kiwi Ferns, still a pretty good squad as well. Ash Quinlan goes onto the bench this week. And look, Appy Nichols is back at fullback. And look, they've got some great players there. Racy McGregor, former Dally M winner in the NRLW as captain and halfback. And Anessa Biddle, the Cronulla Sharks Rookie of the Year, playing again in the second row. We have seen her play in the centres before. Georgia Hale from the Gold Coast Titans, a workaholic, you could say, in that lock position. Look, I think the Jillaroos will get the win here and just maintain that dominance over the Kiwi Ferns. It should be a great game. I think it'll be a close game. I think it'll be something like a 20-16 game. I think it'll be a close game. A little bit of points scored. And look, I'm going to tip Isabel Kelly to score the first try. Moving on to the second game on Saturday night. And look, this is going to be a cracker of a game between the Kiwis and the Kangaroos down there at AAMI Park, 8:10 p.m, Saturday, 28th of October. And look, a few new debutants for the Australian side, and also another returning player back into the Australian fold in Jake Trbojevic. who makes his way into the prop position. Payne Haas and Big Tino Fasul Malawi taking a break in this week's game. Now, this will be interesting because these two teams will face off again next week, with Samoa losing both of their clashes against the Kiwis and the Kangaroos. So this will be the replay game next week in the final of the Pacific Championship. So, look, a little bit of what do you do? Do you pull out all your cards in this one? Do you keep your cards close to your chest? And a good chance to give a couple of debutants a run as well. So, as I said, Thomas Flegler, he comes into the prop position, and also Nico Hines, the Dally M winner from 2022, goes onto the interchange bench as well in number 17. So, look, it's still a pretty formidable squad. Valentine Holmes comes in as well after serving that 1-game suspension. He comes onto the wing, which leaves Hamaso Tabuai Fido in the centre, along with Katoni Staggs. Dylan Edwards remains on the wing, and James Tedesco is the captain. Daly Cherry Evans is the starting halfback, along with Cameron Munster, who will be playing on his home deck down there at AAMI Park. So it'll be interesting there. Will want to light it up in front of his, I guess, home fans and friends and family down there in Melbourne. Lindsay Collins on the interchange bench, Pat Carrigan, Harry Grant, and, as I said, Nico Hines as well. So, look, a fair squad there. Now, the Kiwis, they had a massive win over the Samoans last week and in New Zealand. This will be a big test for them to see how they rank up against the world champions. Matt Timoko for the Kiwis, he had a blinder on debut last week against Samoa. Had some great runs. Jermaine Osako, good to see him back in a Kiwi jersey. Jerome Hughes and James Fisher-Harris, the captain for the first time last week, captains the squad again this week, and his Penrith Panthers premiership winning teammate Moses Leota in that front row. So, look, that'll be it's a pretty formidable front row with Kieran Foran in at hooker. And, look, it's a pretty good, well-balanced squad. Obviously, Joey Manu in the centres there. We all saw him last week with his shirt off. Ran a ball in a set of 6 as well in that with his shirt off. Very interesting. One for the ladies there, I guess. Maybe even some blokes as well. Who knows? But it was certainly a different thing to see in rugby league. That's for sure. But look, the interchange bench, Big Nelson, Asafa Solomona, Leo Thompson, Griffin Neem, for Manu Brown as well. So look, it's going to be a big job for the Kiwis to try and get this win over the Kangaroos. I think the Kangaroos have been in camp in Albury all week. They'll probably make their way down to Melbourne shortly, in a couple of days' time, and just get I guess used to AAMI Park as a group. They might train there, and the Kiwis are already down in Melbourne, I believe. So they were in Melbourne quite early. So look, it's great to see the Kangaroos in Albury and giving back to the, I guess, country community and holding training sessions and getting fans getting signatures and photos and whatever with NRL heroes and now the Kangaroos players. So it's great to see the Kangaroos sharing that, I guess you could say, community spirit all around the country as well. So I think up in Queensland they went to one of the islands up there as well, and did a training session up there as well. So it's good to see the Kangaroos getting in and around all these regions that don't get a lot of rugby league live rugby league there, especially NRL anyway. So it's good to see them get there, and they, as I said before, the supporters can get selfies, they can get the autographs, they can get anything they want to have a chat to these players as well. So it's great to see. So look, I'm going to tip Kangaroos in this game. I think they're going to get this win. I'm going to go Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow as the first try scorer in this one. Look, scored a cracker of a try against Samoa. I think it was like a 90 metre effort. Just sheer pace, broke the line, and I think it was off a short dropout. I think Harry Grant passed the ball to him, and he just took off and dissected the line and just took off, and it was a great try on a debut for Australia. So I think he'll get the first try, but I think this will be a bit of a let's say 26-16 win for the Kangaroos going into next weekend's game against the Kiwis as well. I'm not too sure where that venue will be, but I guess next week you'll see the likes of Payne Haas, Tino Fasul Malawi, Liam Martin return, maybe Selwyn Cobbo as well, depending on how Valentine Holmes goes. So you'll definitely see Liam, Tino and Payne back, I'd say, next week against the Kiwis. For the Kiwis, I think that's their strongest squad that they've got this week, and they will maybe look to have the same team next week, barring injury, of course, or possibly suspension. So they're just going to keep that roll going, I guess, and want to try and get this win and the win next week. But look, I'm going to tip the Kangaroos 26-16, Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow as the first try scorer. Look, the second game on Sunday. There's a game on Sunday as well up in Port Moresby in the Pacific Bowl Championships. And it is obviously the PNG Kumuls up against the Fiji Bati, first and second in this group. They're going to play each other twice again this week and next week. Look, this is going to be a really interesting game, I think. I mean, Fiji, I thought last week they were going to really roll the Cook Islands in their game, but we saw the Cook Islands stand up, and the Fijians only just got the win in the last few minutes of that game. It was going try for try there between the Cook Islands and Fiji for a little bit there. And then Taruva from the Penrith Panthers scored the winning try, and they got away with the win 22-18. So, look, I think they may be a little bit better this week. They'll obviously be better for the run last week, but I think they'll be better this week than they were. PNG, though, they had the week off. They'll be pumped up in front of their home crowd. They're treating this as a two-test series against the Fijians. And look, if they can win these games and results over in England go their way between the Tongans and the English, then perhaps they may jump up a spot in the world rankings as well. So, look, important game or games coming up for PNG, who have the likes of Alex Johnston, Lachlan Lamb, who's played NRL before as well, Nene McDonald as well, and Jack de Belin at lock, and Reece Martin comes back into the second row for the PNG Kumuls. Obviously plays over in England in the Super League, and there is a few others that play in the Super League as well that play for the PNG Kumuls. So something like 6 to 9 players play in that competition. So good experience for those players in a Super League competition. Obviously the second one behind the NRL, but this game's, it could go either way. I really don't know who's going to win, and it could go either way. And if I tip one side, well then guess what? Maybe the other side's going to win, but I think this is a sort of a game that can have a lot of points scored in it. These guys have got a lot of attack in them. We've seen what the PNG Kumuls can do with the ball, especially against the Cook Islands. They put on a score against them. The first five for the Fijians: Bula, Sivo, Taruva, Blake, Ravalawa. Look, I got excited last week. I thought maybe those names, I think maybe they were going to score some more points than what they did between each other. But Wonga Blake scored a try, Micah Sivo scored a try. I thought they would have done more, and the Fijians scored more points, but it wasn't to be. Maybe this week is the week to be. But I'm going to tip the Fijians, and I'm going to tip it's going to be, I think it's going to be something like 30 points to 20. So I think there's going to be a lot of points in this game. Just these sides, it's what they can do. And I'm going to tip Jareen Bula as a first try scorer. So in this game against PNG. But as I said before, this game could go in either way. So not too sure who you guys are tipping, but I'm going to go the Fijians. I tipped them last week. I'm going to stick with them this week to get the win over PNG. So, look, some great rugby league available this weekend. Check your local guides as to what times and where they are showing it. Channel 9, obviously, Foxtel, but check your local guides as well. And it's, as I said, great to see a footy on at this time and the international game. And then next week will be the last week. So this week, in week 3 of the Pacific Championships, I am tipping the Kangaroos, the Fiji side in the men's, and the Jillaroos in the women's side of it. So enjoy your footy. Let me know what your tips are, and let me know what your first try scorers are, and we'll see if we're the same or if we're different, or just what your opinion is. Anyway, let me know. Send me some feedback and let me know, and enjoy your footy over the weekend, and I will see you on Thursday. I will have the interview style podcast come out with Paul Clark, former premiership winning player for the Penrith Panthers, also played at the Balmain Tigers and the club that I love, the Parramatta Eels, as well. So that will be out on Thursday. And also currently out is the Paul Gow episode with Paul Gow, former professional, well, he still is a professional Australian golfer and massive rugby league fan, and also Parramatta Eels fan as well. And it is also available on YouTube as well. It broken up in 2 parts. So if you want to watch the interview, please do that on YouTube. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. And all the little videos and that will be put on there for you guys to see and enjoy as well. So thank you very much for listening to this one. Enjoy your footy and go the Kangaroos.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Paracave Podcast. See you next time.